Hi guys, I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another one in the realm of Mosaic Crochet, but it's going to be a little bit different to every other Mosaic Crochet video I have had on my channel before. Today, instead of working up the same kind of swatches that we typically have been doing, I'm going to be showing you guys how to Mosaic Crochet in the round. What I mean by this is that we're going to be working a continuous piece, so you're not going to have a swatch which has a right side, a left side, and is a little bit more obvious as a swatch. I find that working in the round is really good for wearables and different kinds of projects, and I'm aware I haven't done that yet on my channel, so I thought now was the right time. So with all of that being said, let's get into today's tutorial. Today's Mosaic Crochet video is going to be a little bit different than the rest. Typically you're used to seeing a chart like this. We have a swatch, you start from right to left, or left to right if you're left-handed, and you've got that swatch at the end of the video. But today, as you probably saw from the title, we're actually going to be working in the round. So we're going to create rounds, so it won't be a flat swatch, it will be a circular piece which is going to connect one side to the other side. Before we get into the actual tutorial part, there's a few things about the pattern that I want to go through because it's going to be a slightly different in appearance in comparison to the previous pattern charts that you would have seen from me. So the first thing to note is that typically you'll see what colour's being used at the first stitch, and then I always have it on the last stitch as well. This is because when you have your swatch and you're just making a flat one which is not going to be working in the round, you always have your first stitch of the row and then you have your last stitch of the row. So normally it's marked up like this on either side. Because we're working into the round, that is not going to be the case for these type of designs, and there's a few reasons why. So reason number one, this first column, so the column with 1 underneath it, you're not actually going to work this up at all. For this kind of pattern, it is literally just a reference of what colour I use for which row of the overall round that you're going to have to do. So for this, essentially it's there, but kind of ignore it. So this is what it's going to look like really, but then you just know based off of that, oh, I'm not doing a stitch for it, but this is the colour that Jessie's referring to for this round of the overall design that we're doing today. As well as that, the other thing you'll notice is even when we cover that row up, you'll see that the row does not end in the same way on the actual chart. And that is because when you work it into the round, you're going to be attaching the ends together. So when you actually see it, you think, oh, okay, well, there should be a row here, like this one here of just the green, but then you'll see that that's here. So when you're actually linking and you're joining up your work into a round, you're going to do it so you can just seamlessly work all the way through. And then when you finish at this stage, you're just going to be linking up here. So it's going to just seamlessly work into it. So I'll show you guys that obviously in person, so it'll make a little bit more sense for you visual learners. But it's very, very intentional, because if I had done this section here at the end of this square here, then when you join up together, then you're going to have a section on the joining part, which is going to be 2 sections thick. So it's not just going to be 1 row of green, there'll be 2 for it when you join it up, which you can do, but it just doesn't look as smooth and as seamless, which is what we're going for in today's tutorial. So now that I have covered those few things, let's get into today's tutorial where I show you guys how to Mosaic crochet in the round. For today's tutorial, I am going to be using Hobbie's Friends Cotton 8/4 yarn. I'm using it in 2 colours, and I've gone for some colours that I think the stitch is going to be quite clear when you use them, so that's my goal. And I'm going to do the entirety of this chart, which, to be honest, is not actually that much, because you'll just see it's only going to be 5 rounds once it's all complete. So it will work up relatively quickly, but then I also think it will give you guys those foundational skills to be able to then Mosaic crochet in the round. I am also going to be using a 3.5mm crochet hook. That is my preference based on the yarn I'm using. You guys, if you want to use a 4 or 4.5 and just use some regular standard acrylic that's like double knit maybe, that's fine, because this is just the purpose of practicing and learning how to use this skill. So it doesn't really necessarily matter quite as much. I mean, don't go and use like an 8mm crochet hook and some really chunky yarn, because working in the round, it's really great for wearables. And if you're working with really chunky yarn, it's going to be really thick and rigid and not good for wearables. So I would recommend using a slightly smaller hook, slightly thinner yarn, but it's just down to what you guys want to do. So I've started off already by just doing that first slip knot for myself. So what we are going to do, remember, we're not going to do a stitch for that first column. So you'll see we have got a total of 21 stitches for the entirety of this row, which will be 20, purely because we're not going to do that first one. So you're going to do what you typically do with Mosaic crochet. You're just going to do 20 chains just to begin. And then once you've done those 20 chains, I will show you guys what we're going to do next. So I have just done my 20 chains. This is how they look. And there's a few different things that we can do to start. I'm probably going to do a little bit more purely because I really want you guys to be able to see all of the details. So I'm just going to do a few additional chains. Okay, you guys, so what I have done is I've done a total of 40 chains. So I've technically just gone through the pattern twice, just because when you actually work it into the round, you'll see it is still relatively quite small. So 20, it was actually going to be tiny. So now that we've done that, the first thing we are going to do is we're actually going to do a slip stitch into the first chain. And when you do that, you want to make sure you've not twisted your work at all, because if you twist it, it will look a little bit obvious that you have. Okay, I've made sure that I've not twisted up my chains and I've already gone into that first chain. Then you're just going to do a slip stitch. And now we have got our, well, not even our first round, but we've joined up to the setup to get our first round done, which we'll start now. Having a look, the first row here is completely blank, so it's going to be a row of single crochet. So you're just going to work a single crochet into every single stitch here. So I'm just going to chain one and then single crochet one stitch into every single stitch until you're all the way around. So it's not going to be anything too different from this typical mosaic crochet that you guys do. It's just the fact that we're joining the ends up, so it's just not going to be a flat piece of mosaic crochet. So just keep working this. I'm just going to do a few more and then I'll give you guys a few updates as I'm going along. So I've done some more single crochet, you can see from this point all the way here. And I'm just going to continue doing one single crochet into every single stitch until we get to the start of the round. So keep doing this, guys, and then I will show you how we're going to join up this first round. Just finishing up this first round now. So this is how it is looking. And then what we are going to do to finish off this round, you're just going to see that first stitch, the single crochet that you did right at the start. And what you're going to do is you're just going to slip stitch into it. So slip stitch. You're then going to chain, grab your scissors, cut your yarn and pull through. So that is the first round completely done. We're going to start in the same spot again in the stitch that we've just finished. So we're going to start our second round, which is going to be using this colour here. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to have a look at our chart. Our chart, we're using the secondary colour, perfect. And you'll see the entirety of the round, it is completely blank. So it's another row, well, round of single crochet. And what we're going to do is we're just going to work into the back loop only of the first stitch of this round. And then I'm going to attach in the way that I typically attach. You guys can kind of do this whichever way you want, to be honest, but this is just how I do it. I attach by creating a chain and then I do the single crochet in that stitch. I'm trying to weave in a few of the ends as I go along as well, which is why it's looking a bit chaotic. Okay, so that is the first single crochet done for the round. You're then going to go into your next stitch, again, back loop only, and do your single crochet, and then the stitch after that again, back loop only. So just keep doing this for the whole of this round, and that is how it is looking so far. This is how it is looking, guys. I've done most of this second round, so I'm just going to finish it up by doing the last few single crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So that is how it is looking so far. We're going to do exactly what we did at the end of the first round, and we're just going to do a slip stitch in the first stitch of the round just to join it up. So you're going to go into both parts of the single crochet, then you're going to chain, grab some scissors, cut your yarn and pull through, and that is round number 2 completely done so far. We are now on to round number 3 using the blue yarn again, and you'll see we're now starting to do some double crochets. So it's going to be double crochet, 3 single crochet, double crochet, 3 single crochet, double crochet, 3 single crochet, and so on. So I'm just going to attach by doing what I always do. So I'm just going to go into the first single crochet of this round. I'm just going to join up. And what I'm going to do, instead of doing a single crochet to start, I'm going to drop down because the first stitch is a double crochet. So drop down and do your double crochet. And then we're going to do 3 single crochets going into the back loop only. So that's 1, 2, and 3. That's how it's looking. Then you're going to do a double crochet again, like that, and then another 3 single crochet. We're just going to be repeating this all the way around. So that's 3 single crochet done, and then you're going to do another double crochet, and then just continue. So it'll be another 3 single crochet, then a double crochet. So just keep doing that, and then I'll give you guys a little check-in again once I've made a bit more progress. So I have made quite a lot of progress. I've only got this little bit here left to do for this round, and it's already starting to show its little design a little bit more. And once this round's done, we only have 2 left. So it is quite a quick tutorial, but I think it's more the case of if you've watched this and you've watched my beginner to mosaic crochet tutorial, then you'll have the basics of the actual stitches down. It's just how we work it in the round that's slightly different. So we're just finishing up the round, and remember what I said, how it finishes on 3 the 3 single crochet that you have, which will always then work up with the first double crochet. So that's how it's looking. So we've got 1, 2, 3 single crochet, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to slip stitch into that first double crochet from the start of the round, and then we're going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through. And then what you'll notice here is where it's finishing, you've got the exact same spaces, so it's blending in perfectly, which is exactly what I wanted to be able to show you guys for this swatch. So I've already made quite a lot of progress in this round. I've got this little section here left to do, and what I think is really good is when you're learning a new concept in a technique that's already maybe a bit new and not so familiar for you, like mosaic crochet, it's really good to have a design that is fairly simplistic and it's not too complicated, and it means that you are able to get down this new skill, which is obviously working in the round, while still working up a pattern which is pretty but not really complicated, which just makes it a little bit easier as a process. So I'm just going to finish off these spaces here and then show you guys how I'm going to join up the round, and then we'll start the last round for this video. Okay guys, nearly done here, and what we're going to do, because we've done the last double crochet, we're just going to do a slip stitch into the single crochet that started off the round, and then we're going to chain, grab some scissors, cut the yarn and pull through. That is round number 4 completely done, and it's time to get on to round 5, which is going to be the last one for this tutorial. This is how it is looking, guys. We literally have got 3 single crochet left to do, and the entirety of the rest of the round is done. So we're going to do our 3 single crochet in the back loop only. 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to do a slip stitch into that first stitch of the round, which is the double crochet, and then we're going to do a chain. I'm going to grab my scissors, cut the yarn and pull through, and that is the end of the entirety of this chart. So that is how it looks alongside the actual chart here. That is how it should look. So we are completely done. So again, this is how it looks, guys. I am so happy to have been able to show you guys how to work in the round for this, because it gives you so many different possibilities when it comes to mosaic crochet. And one thing specifically as well, which I'm going to be launching hopefully in the coming weeks, is my first ever mosaic crochet wearable, which is a mosaic crochet top. I will put the photo in here. It's currently in the tester stage, but it will be released very soon, and you can use your newfound skill of how to mosaic crochet in the round to make a top like this. Now that the tutorial is done, I hope you guys found that somewhat easy to follow and that you now have a new skill that you can do on top of mosaic crochet in general. I do want to just say again that I am going to be having my first ever mosaic crochet wearable pattern, which is this top here. It is going to be released in the coming weeks, so do keep an eye out for it, guys. It's currently in the tester stage, and I feel like there's so much you can do with mosaic crochet when you do learn how to crochet in the round. So be prepared, because I'm going to have a lot more wearables and pattern ideas like this that are going to be coming out in the future. As always, thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and if you're watching it but you're not subscribed yet, then please do consider subscribing, as well as pressing the bell to be notified when my next video is up. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!